Thank you, Calvin. Our final speaker for this evening, Sophie Viger, Managing Director of 42, based in Paris, France. Since a young age, Sophie has been passionate about all things geek, from computer to games, science fiction, from coding to programming. And despite a degree in musicology and biology, she began teaching coding at the age of 23. Now, Sophie is at the center of a passion for technology, innovation, diversity, and education through 42, a computer programming school founded by French entrepreneur Xavier Niel. Sophie will share more about 42's mission to revolutionize the way we learn and prepare for the digital age. With 52 campuses across 31 countries, including Malaysia, 42 has provided more than 18,000 students with tuition-free education to empower the next leading generation for IT talents. 42's unique model transcends traditional education methods with project-based learning. What that means is no teachers, no classes, all through hands-on, peer learning, and teamwork. Ladies and gentlemen, here to educate us on 42, please welcome Sophie Viger.
So thank you very much. It's an honor to join our conversation at Khazanah Megatrends Forum this year. And as English is not my mother tongue, as you can hear, if you don't mind, I'm going to use my computer and read my speech. And believe me, it's going to be a better experience for you. And also, I hope you are not too tired, because my session is a bit longer than the others. So I have the chance. I don't know if you have this chance also. We will see at the end. So here it is. So in 2018, I agreed to take over the lead of an IT training school in Paris. I was driven by three main reasons that are dear to my heart, which are innovating, empowering, and sharing. I mean, innovating, it consists in reinventing and revolutionizing the educational system through technology. And empowering by allowing anyone without distinction to learn, grow, dream of a better future, and contribute to society. And sharing this wonderful education model beyond borders or culture by expanding it internationally. So that's why I'm here today to share this extraordinary experiment in education, which will be one of the answers to the great educational needs of the coming decades. So some of you have heard of it. It's called School 42. So it's a computer science school for adults, open to everyone, regardless of their background. The school's first campus was founded 10 years ago in Paris. Since then, we've expanded to 52 campuses in 31 countries around the world. So I'm going to talk to you about, first, the problem we tackle with classical education, pedagogy, and its limits. Then the great inspirers and principles on which 42 model is founded. And then the results and its multiple and positive impacts. So first, what is classical pedagogy? Well, traditional pedagogy is based on a simple principle. A teacher transmits knowledge to students, and that's it. So students have to listen, ask questions if necessary, memorize, and reproduce the teacher's knowledge. It's based on discipline, rote learning, and repetition. And it seems to be common sense. But can I mention the deficiencies with this teaching system? Well, first, teacher. So the teacher is the cornerstone of the traditional system. He and he alone holds the key to knowledge. But this means that, logically, teachers can only teach what they know, and it's a bit limited. Then the teacher can give lessons with passion and enthusiasm, but also without any emotional involvement. But do we learn better through rationality or emotion. Then all knowledge flows in one direction, from the teacher who knows to the student who does not. So the teacher is superior, and there are no or few interactions between the students. But don't students also have something to contribute? And does this intellectual inferiority really benefit students' development? Then the system is based on course work, so mainly theoretical. And it's up to the student to relate this theory to his or her own experience. But will students retain better something they are taught or something they discover by themselves? And then, course materials are identical for a given age group without taking into account differences in students' progress or aptitudes. I'm sure you know this quote of Einstein. But how can you adapt to individual difficulties and abilities when you have to teach the same thing at the same time to a group of pupils and the same way and at the same pace? Also, the very layout of the premises is designed to ensure that all students face the teacher. Classrooms are not places for exchanging, but only for listening. So does this way of individualizing students prepare them for collaborative work and living together? And last, but not least, students must stay in their place. I mean, literally and figuratively. So they must remain seated and not talk to their neighbors. And they must accept what the teacher says and not be critical of it. But does this model leave out two essential skills in today's fast-moving society: critical thinking and initiative? So, in the 2000s, Xavier Niel, a French tycoon, recognized the lack of digital talents in France, and he decided to create his own computer science school. He was aware of the gap between what is taught in traditional schools and the needs of the companies. And he wanted to create a school that answers that need and unleash the full potential of the students and equip them with long-term skills. So we took the time to look at the great teaching experiments of the past and at neuroscientific research. And inspired by them, we created 42, a school like no other. This is the building in Paris. We have 900 computers and 5,000 students. So what about the great inspirers? First, meet Sugata Mitra. So in 1999, Sugata Mitra, a physics professor, launched an experiment involving the installation of computers in Indian slums, enabling children to use them without any guidance whatsoever. And the children succeeded in learning to use computer and use internet even if they didn't speak English, and without any guidance. His experiment is called the hole in the wall. And he proved that unsupervised learning produces better results. Well, similarly, in the 19th century, a Frenchman by the name of Joseph Jacotot showed that it was possible to learn a foreign language without a teacher. His theory is called ignorant master. And in fact, when you think about it, nobody teaches a child to speak or walk. They do it by themselves through imitation, trial, and error. So at 42, we decided first to remove the teachers. So this is what it looks like inside a 42 campus. As you can see, there is no teacher. Students are working together. So you're probably wondering if there are no teachers, so what does 42 do? So our job was to create a powerful intranet where the students can find exercise of increasing difficulties. So they start with something really simple, like the Hello World exercise. They do that during the selection process. I will talk to you about that later. So then they do one exercise after another, each one more difficult than the previous ones. And in this way, they build a body of knowledge and skills that enables them to work on more complex projects. So maybe you're wondering how they can do that without teachers. When in fact, some of them try to find solutions by watching videos or reading manuals. They will try a piece of code and try another piece of code. And then they will debate about that. But they will, at the end, find a solution by themselves. And in this way, they will create their own framework of learning. And if there is no teacher, who's going to correct the students? I will talk about that later. So as you can imagine, it's completely changed the approach. The students become actors. And if you can see them, when they find a solution, they are just so happy because they found it by themselves. Also, the students learn at their own pace, and they demonstrate initiative and creativity. Then Albert Bandura. So Albert Bandura is a great theorist of collaborative learning. His social cognitive theory says that individuals can acquire knowledge directly through the observation of others in social interaction and experiences. So at 42, we decided to create a learning context that requires collaboration to succeed, with students exchanging ideas to find solutions to their problems together. Well, this is simply collective intelligence. So the face-to-face training on campus to enable students to observe and imitate each other. And we need 150 students in a cohort at minimum to encourage learning by imitation. Then John Dewey. So John Dewey showed that students learn more effectively by doing and by working with others. And he set up an experimental school at the end of the 19th century based on the principle that all subjects were taught through projects. So that means children learn writing and arithmetic by doing practical tasks like cooking or sewing or woodworking. And the results were astonishing. So at 42, we decided to implement a 100% hands-on project-based curriculum. So here is a project. So this is a simple PDF on which you will find all the constraints. And this is exactly what you can find in a company when you have a project. There are constraints, and you just need to meet the constraints. So our job was to create these constraints really precisely for each project. So this project is called Cube 3D, and it consists in creating a 3D environment in which you can move. So the idea is, for example, here is a forest. Well, just imagine it's a forest. So if you have to reach the red point, and if a teacher told you, well, to reach this red point, you need to take this path, you can be sure that all the students will take exactly the same path, and they will be happy of that and say, oh, that's what the teacher was waiting for me. But if there is no clue, so it will take longer, but you may see as many different solutions as there are students, and some of them will innovate. Then Maria Montessori. So you may know Maria Montessori. She devoted her life to innovating education of children and published a book, The Child. One of its key ideas is what today seems obvious: not all children learn the same thing in the same way, at the same time, and the same pace. In fact, each person will have a particular learning window. So at 42, we decided to progress at an individual pace. So here is what you face when you enter in 42. So this is the holy graph, like Holy Grail. So when you start, you can go here, up. The first project is here, it's libft. So libft, it's a library of function in C. And when you start, you apply to this project. And when you succeed in this project, it will unlock the next circle. So you will have 3 new projects, and if you succeed to these 3 new projects, so it will unlock the next circle, and so on, until the last circle. All this part is called the common core. So the common core, some of the students can achieve it in 6 months, others in 2 years. So during the common core, they will learn how to code in C, so we learn algorithm, object-oriented programming, so C++, also a little of network, DevOps, and they will finish at a big web projects. So as you can see, it's respectful of your cognitive skills, your pace, but also your social situation, if you have children to take care of, or if you have a part-time job. And also the building is open 24/7, so that means the students can come whenever they want to work on their project. And I already talked about Albert Bandura. So in 1986, he wrote a book in which he showed that students achieve better learning outcomes when they are self-motivated. So his theory is that people are self-organized, proactive, self-reflective, and self-regulated beings, not just responsive to the external environment. So at 42, we decided to allow free choice of pathway and specialization. So already during the common core, the students sometimes they can choose between 2 projects for 1 knowledge. But when they finish the common core, they can start an internship. They also can start their own business. They also can apply to continue their curriculum in another campus. But they can also proceed in any specialization. They can start with a project in AI, another one in blockchain, or DevOps, or whatever. And they can deep dive in one of the specialization. So they will have this kind of map of skills, which is unique for each student. They can also decide when they graduate. They just have to push a button, and they will be part of the alumni network. Then Jean Piaget. So it seems maybe paradoxical, a pedagogy based on failure. So the Swiss pedagogue Jean Piaget theorized that students learn through trial and error. They learn by making mistakes. Also, another theorist, Stanislas Dehaene, showed that the brain is basically a statistical tool. So it's simply a matter of continually correcting ourselves through feedback. In other words, making mistakes is just fundamental to learning. So that's why we decided to make trial and error completely natural. So the student can try, they can fail, yes, sure, but they can try again, learn, and they can succeed. So here is a ladder for a project. So our job was to create a ladder. So now I can tell you who corrects the students. Well, students correct students. We call that peer evaluation. And to be honest, this is one of the best periods of learning. Because when you have to explain what you've done, there's kind of a special area in your brain that reinforces your knowledge. And when you are the one who is correcting someone, so we will see how we solved this project. But if you correct another students that have done the same project, you will see that there is several ways to solve the problem or to achieve the subject. So our work was to create ladder to help the students to correct the project. So even if they have not done the project, they can correct it. And it will lead to a mark. And to avoid cheating, each project has to be corrected by 5 different students. And in fact, we've created a matching system so they can apply to be corrected or to correct someone on a schedule. And it's only 15 minutes before the start of the correction that you know who you're going to correct or who is going to correct you. Gamification, so play. Play is deeply connected to learning. In fact, all mammals learn through games, and for good reason. The game allows us to experiment and progress, and the pleasure helps us to memorize the information. So look at cubs. If they start to play chasing and catching as they are young, is to be able to survive when they are adults and catch their prey. So at 42, we decided to normalize trial and error, but also to offer a gamified training. So it's exactly like in a video game. When you start, you have 0 experience points. And you are going to earn experience points each time you succeed in a project. And with experience points, you will gain level. So you start level 0, and you can go up to level 21. There are also some achievements. You can get achievements. There is one which is to hack 42. So 3 students have been able to get this achievement. And there are houses, like in Harry Potter. So when you start, you are randomly added to one of the houses. And when you earn experience points, you earn the experience points for your house. And each year, we organize a very wonderful party at the color of the houses. Also, the last one, Santiago Ramon. So Santiago Ramon is the winner of the Nobel Prize of Medicine in 2006. He discovered how neurons work and proved the need to rest the brain regularly to allow it to reorganize and thus memorize. So that's why at 42 we decided to have campus that is a real place to live with chill zones, students' association. But maybe the most important is we've chosen to create a training program accessible to everyone. That means no tuition fee, no age limit, no diploma or degree required. So we wanted IT to be an opportunity for everyone, no matter your level of education or your social background. And it works. And in fact, diversity is one of the great strengths of 42. And thanks to it, it helps students to work with different people and helps them to understand and really live and feel that diversity is an asset that helps them to have a wider view. So in another word, it helps for innovation and for respect. But as you can imagine, we are one of the best IT schools in the world. We are open to everyone. We are free. So we needed a strong selection process, not based on usual criteria, but based on potential and motivation. So we created the piscine. It means swimming pool in French. So it's learning by immersion. So it involves 4 weeks of selection, including weekends, so every day. The students will learn how to program in C, and at the end, we will keep around 1/3 of the candidates. So it's a strong selection process, but only based on motivation and potential. So, what are the results? Well, first, we have 52 campuses in 31 countries. So you can see here all the cities where we have partners. And as you can see, there is a 42 campus in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur. So our action and success relies on collaboration between the private sector, government policies, and civil society. We received more than 500,000 applicants. We are proud that we already have trained 37,000 students, and we have now 18,000 students. The average age is 26, but the most important, as you can see, is a third of our students have absolutely no diploma. So this number is really important because in general, people without diplomas don't have access to higher education. And they often come from disadvantaged backgrounds. So we are very proud at 42 to welcome them and see them succeed and contribute to the success of others. And we have 22% of women, which is really not enough at all. But as you can see, for example, in Paris, we've made a lot of progress to close the gender gap, and we've reached a third of women. So tomorrow's world is being made by today's computer science students. So if only from a political and creative standpoint, it's extremely important that half the population is not excluded from the making of tomorrow's world. That's why we are working a lot to increase the number of women in 42. So maybe most important, the hiring rate, which is 100%. The average salary is very high in Paris, and as you can see, 12% of the students start their own business and create a startup. So here are the feedback from the companies and big companies. They are all astonished by the students, by the mindset, by the quality of the students. Obviously, it's because we train them with strong hard skills, but not only that, it's also because through this peer learning method, they develop a lot of soft skills like communication, collaboration, critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, and also empathy. And they all lead to innovation. But I think most importantly, thanks to his neuroscience-based pedagogy, 42 teaches his students perseverance. You know, every failure brings you closer to success. And respect for others. Success comes from collaboration. So perseverance and respect are the keys to success in both professional and personal life. So 42 is a school for individual and collective fulfillment. So in conclusion, I hope I convinced you that it's time to revolutionize the education system, and 42 is one of the answers. And it's not a vision or something happening far away from you. There's a 42 campus in Kuala Lumpur, and soon 2 others in Penang and in Iskandar, and thanks to Khazanah and Sunway. And if you want to be part of this adventure, we're lucky enough to have a booth in the forum, so you can meet with the wonderful team of KL, I love you, team of KL, and talk with them after the presentation. And I've heard also there is a 3-minute video about 42 in KL. Thank you very much. Oops.
Education is the foundation upon which societies are built, and it is the driving force behind a nation's progress. Sunway Education Group is fully committed to making quality education affordable and accessible to as many qualified students as possible. It is with this conviction that we partner with Eco42 to establish the first 42 campus in Southeast Asia. In less than 3 years, I'm proud to share that 42KL is already playing a major role in equipping our young people with the skills to succeed in the digital economy. In collaboration with Khazanah National Berhad, we are taking this partnership and our commitment to nation building one step further with 42 Malaysia. 42 Malaysia is charting the path for our nation to become the leading digital economy in ASEAN. Join us in this mission to shape a more progressive, inclusive, and sustainable future for all under the Malaysian sun.
A key part of our mandate is to embark on strategic investments to advance the nation as guided by our Advancing Malaysia strategy. Of course, one key avenue for change is education. When we first considered investments that serve this space, we were excited by 42KL. This model will help increase social mobility and help address the tech talent supply gap. The partnership with Sunway Education Group through 42 Malaysia serves to accelerate the model nationwide and ultimately develop 10,000 highly skilled tech talents within the next 10 years. This is not just an education-related initiative, it is a nation-building endeavor to establish a digitally empowered Malaysia and strengthen our nation's fourth industrial revolution capabilities. But we recognize that more can be done. We aim to take 42 Malaysia to greater heights for Malaysians to benefit from quality education as well as nurture talent necessary to propel Malaysia to become a digital economy leader in the region. With that, we call upon GLICs, GLCs, MNCs, industry and corporate leaders to join us in this journey. Your contribution can make a significant difference, ensuring that we have a pipeline of highly skilled talent ready to meet the challenges of tomorrow. Thank you everyone for being part of this journey.